All right, hey everybody, it's Coach Adam here, club head coach at Mount Hamilton Youth Soccer Club. I have here with me a very special interview. I'm really happy to introduce Chris Nanco, Forge FC. Hey Chris, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good, man. So I always like to start off the interviews with the Forge players that have won the first ever, forever first championship for us. How does it feel? Like, tell me a little bit about what it is to be like forever first. How's that feel?
Yeah, I mean, like it's an unreal feeling. You know, when we were thinking about it at the start of the season, it seemed like something that was so far away. Something that we couldn't really grab onto. But then, as the season went on, and you saw us performing well, and putting some points on the table. It seemed like something like that we can accomplish. And then when it got to that point, we didn't take the moment for granted, and we went in there and got the job done. I think some guys on our team are still living on that moment, and we're just trying to get back into another season and having a successful season.
So, for me, being born and raised in Hamilton, being born and raised in Canada, to me, on the outside perspective, not from a player's view, when I walked into Tim Hortons field and I saw the pitch ready to play and I looked around and I saw the fans, for me, I wasn't even playing and I was getting chills down my back just to be in Canada in the Canadian Premier League. Can you take me through the feeling of the first time when you were walking out holding the child's hand or whatever, that feeling that you had the first moment that you said, this is for real right now?
Yeah, I mean, like just going off of that, just like growing up, you didn't really experience that kind of stuff. Like being raised in Canada, me being raised in Brampton, you didn't really experience that stuff. Like professional soccer wasn't around. You had to kind of travel to get those experiences, right? But just that first game, like it was more than I expected. I'll say that it was definitely more than I expected. I knew, Hamilton fans were passionate about their sports and everything like that, but I didn't know that was going to be the turnout. So once I took a step out of the tunnel and saw all the fans in the stadium, saw heard the sound of them cheering and stuff like that. It was unreal. It was an unreal experience, and I was just trying to capture the moment. I've definitely, like, in my career, I've definitely played in some pretty big crowds, but just Hamilton, it's definitely up there.
You mentioned, growing up and how you grew up in Brampton, and it's really special to have players from Hamilton or players from Brampton or players from just around the GTA or Hamilton in general that look and see you, and it's a real thing for them. And so for having them when they're growing up, they're watching you and aspiring to be like you. And is there any players that you watched and you aspired to be like?
Yeah, growing up around the area, Kyle Becker, like, plays for Forge. Kyle Becker was one of the guys that when I joined the Sigma program, he was there. He was in the older age group, and he was one of the guys that I looked forward to watching and playing with on Sigma eventually on the men's team. So yeah, when I got to Sigma, he was one of the guys that stood out to me, knowing him around the area. And then, just like guys that I would watch, like professional guys, where I really liked watching Ronaldinho and like the Brazilian players, because I love the Brazilian style of playing with like flair and enthusiasm and just expressing yourself on the field.
So I love Ronaldinho too. Growing up, I think we're nearly
Yeah,
the same age, anyways. His touches on the ball were unbelievable. To me, I think he's still one of the best freestyle type of
yeah, for sure.
players. You can go on with a list of him. Um, but speaking of touches, speaking of on the ball, during this time of COVID-19, like what are you doing personally? I know you probably have your team schedule that you have to do, but what
Yeah.
is Chris Nanco doing personally in order to stay, fit or at least sharp on the ball during this time?
Yeah, like you said, we definitely have our team schedule and our team workouts and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously, I just try to get my touches on the ball, whether it be in like my backyard or whether I have to go onto the street or something. Try to keep my touches on the ball, do some technical work, dribbling in and out of cones and stuff like that. any little workouts I can get in from here and there, just to keep my footwork at the best part of me or whatever. That way, when we get back into the season, it's there's not such a gap between when we started and this break, and then when we're starting up again.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was just mentioning to you before, we have this interview that I was doing, Facebook Live videos. We're just trying to keep connected during this time. I have to ask for sure. It's not necessarily soccer, but we see on Instagram, we see on YouTube. Apparently, you're pretty good with a pair of clippers in your hands.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna have much to do with me, but is there any other special talents that we are unaware of that that you got going on?
I mean, yeah, you said it, like the clippers, yeah, cut hair every now and then. I've been doing it since I went off to college pretty much. So that's been like 6, 7 years now, I think. And then yeah, like just growing up, I've just been like all into the like arts and stuff like that. I used to draw when I was younger. So I'm into that stuff, like architecture, all that stuff. And then also I have my own clothing brand as well, which I'm wearing right now.
Oh, shout out to your clothing brand. Good.
Yeah.
What's the name of your clothing brand?
So yeah, it's all. So I have my business, which is the hair cutting and the clothing brand. It's all together, and it's called Kicked Up Culture. So you can see it on Instagram at Kicked Up Culture. No E in the kicked. But yeah, so it's on Instagram. Post every day and stuff like that. So you can see all that stuff there.
Absolutely, we'll have to check that out for sure. So, I always say this as an athlete. Growing up, me playing. Even athletes that we know, we like our routines. Like we're habit style people. Now, I want you to take me on a journey through the day, game day for Chris Nanco. When you lay in your bed, you open up your eyes. What happens from then on?
Yeah, I mean, so let's say it's a weekend game or earlier game, like during the day. I'll wake up, just get a nice breakfast in. And then if it's during the day, it's usually probably around 1 o'clock or something like that. Then yeah, I'll get a nice breakfast in, just hang out with my family for a bit before I have to leave and go to the stadium. And then once I get to the stadium, I'll get into the stadium. I'll have my music going. Say what's up to the guys. Everybody has their own routines and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll say what's up to the guys. My routine is I usually have my music in. I go to do some stretches. Might have a little snack when I get there. Yeah, do some stretches, do a little ab workout just to get my core going. And then I'll like hop in like the hot tubs, get warmed up and stuff. Get my equipment on. We'll usually have a team meeting just to go over some last minute things before we head out. And then we'll talk as a team, no coaches, talk as a team, just the players in a little huddle, head out onto the field. And then me and Kwame Awuo, we usually warm up together before we get into the actual team workout. So we'll usually be doing some keep ups, doing some passing and stuff like that, just joking around, having a good time, taking in the atmosphere. Then we get into the team workout, do the team workouts, possession, crossing and finishing, stuff like that, dynamic stretching and stuff like that. And then, yeah, back into the locker room, get ready, suit up and everything, and then head back out for the start of the game.
I like that. And you actually mentioned, a little bit on music. You said something about music, and then right there I go,
yeah.
If I was to look and grab Chris Nanco's phone, what's the last song that was on his playlist? And so that's what I'm going to ask you. What is like the last song you're listening to? I don't know if you want to check now, or can you remember what you're listening to, and what gets you hyped before games?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big like hip hop and then R&B kind of guy. But yeah, for games, I usually listen to a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap. So I'll listen to like Drake or like The Baby or Lil Baby or like rap artists like that. Meek Mill is a big one too. So that's what I listen to games. On my downtime, I like to listen to like R&B and stuff, like The Weeknd and stuff. I like a lot of Toronto artists, so Drake, The Weeknd, Party Next Door and Tory Lanez are kind of like my top artists, kind of. But yeah, my last, I think what I'm listening to right now is probably, for the most part, it's probably like Tory Lanez's new album and The Weeknd's new album too.
Good. I like it too. There's a whole lot of list there, but that's good.
Yeah.
So on a more serious note, you know, in being in your position, is an amazing position to be in, and I know that all the players, parents, and coaches and people watching this, they respect and they aspire to be someone like you. And so, what does it mean to you to be professional, and like, what does it mean, how does being a professional athlete make you a better person?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, it makes me realize that, like, uh as much as like I don't think so, but it makes me realize that I'm an important person in the community. Like kids look up to you, parents look up to you, to be a role model for their kid. Um, and I noticed that even before being professional, I noticed that even when I was in Sigma, the younger age groups of Sigma were looking up to us, watching the games and stuff like that. And then even when I went to college, after games, kids would come up to you and ask for autographs. And then, yeah, just going into professional, it just takes it another step up. And yeah, you just got to be that role model. So it means a lot to me, to be able to be a role model for kids. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to come back to Canada to play soccer after doing a little bit of time in America. Uh, because I wanted to start something up in Canada and give kids the opportunity to see a professional environment and be able to reach out to different players and stuff like that would help them reach their goals. So that's a big reason why I came to the CPL. So just being able to be that role model for kids is important to me.
It doesn't have to be soccer. It doesn't have to be anything. I've asked this question before, but what is important to you as a human being, especially during this time?
Definitely especially during this time, definitely family. I feel like I've gotten a lot of time to spend with my family now, especially because for the last, I don't know, 8 years, I've been away because of school in America and then playing professionally in America. I didn't get to see my family a lot. So definitely during this time, I like to spend a lot of time with my family and catch back up with them and, just build those relationships up again.
I agree with you during this time. Sometimes you don't always get to be with the people you love, but you got to make the best of what we have here and stay healthy and stay.
Exactly.
You mentioned about, being a role model and someone that players can look up to. And as I'm kind of closing our interview here, do you have any advice for a young player, who's aspiring to be a Canadian professional or to play in the CPL?
I would say just keep working hard. Try to get your touches on the ball. Try to do something that's gonna bring you closer to that goal. Try to do something every day, and just keep working at it. Everybody has a different path, and everybody has a different path to get into where they want to be. And my career is just like an example of that. I feel like I thought I was gonna go pro when I was in high school, with all the different places I was going in Europe and stuff like that. And then I ended up going to college, and 4 years later, I went pro. So everybody has a different path. There's different timing to everything. So just stick with it. And if you believe that it's something you want to do for your life, just keep working at it.
I think that's good words of encouragement there. Well, just to end it off, thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate you coming out. I mention this all the time, but I make sure all the club comes out to see you guys, and I come out and support myself. Big fan of the Forge. So thank you again for coming out. Thank you for making us forever first, and I hope to see you out in the field again.
All right. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And everybody, stay safe, and we'll get through this all together.
All right, everybody. Coach Adam. Chris Nanco from Forge. Out.